You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob, and this is episode number 459. And we are very grateful that you're spending a few minutes of your day with us. We really appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. We also appreciate the support and continual support from our sponsors, of which we'll have some new ones next week to tell you about. But don't forget about videoblocks.com. If you go to videoblocks.com/drone 2016, you could save $100 on a subscription to their stock website. Now, on their site, they have hundreds, if not thousands of stock clips from B-roll, segue shots. You know, if you want stuff even with actors in them, whatever you need for your production, it can be there. The benefit of this deal, if you go to videoblocks.com/drone 2016, is that you also have access to audioblocks.com, which is thousands upon thousands of copyright-free audio. So you got to check it out.
Absolutely. And guys, if you're still studying for the 107 and you're looking for some concentrated effort and you want to just go to maybe spend a weekend hanging out with other guys that are studying and focus with live instructors, check out droneulive.com. We've got a couple of courses coming up in Austin and in Phoenix. We would love to see you out there. People that have been to previous courses,
like these guys right here that you
are
can
so
see.
glad that they went and talking about how this course made the difference in them getting it passed. So check it out again, www.droneulive.com. We'd love to see you there.
We definitely would. And I can't wait for those election poll calls to stop calling my phone.
Are they still calling
That's
your phone?
what that was, yeah. I'm just happy the election is over, as you should be as well, because we're not going to be burdened with crazy advertising. I'm very excited about that.
Man, that's the best part of the whole dang thing.
That really, really is. But if you're an entrepreneur, you know that actually election season is a good time of year as far as spending goes. But what happens when you move from being a part-time aerial guy to a full-time? When is the right time to make that move? What should you be focusing once you do make the move? All great questions that are kind of in line with today's question from our dear friend Chris Gannon.
Yes, Mr. Gannon's been a member for a long time, which we very much appreciate, and it's been really, really cool to kind of see his progression of getting into drones, learning about them, getting connected to Drone U and the community, and now to hear this question is pretty exciting.
Well, you know, it's really cool. Again, like you said, you see his progression over time. He's gone from, you know, I think he was a forklift operator, and now he owns his own company flying drones. And I just think this is amazing. He's taken on different things. He's listened to what he said. He's gone through the K. Anders Ericsson deliberate practice model. He's been a fighter.
Yeah, and he actually came out and got some training from you.
Yeah, he did.
So he's done the whole enchilada.
Yes, you've got a great accent there, Rob. Just saying. Do you like to eat enchiladas?
Enchilada.
Thank you for taking us down that road. Anyway, if you want to get some enchiladas and train to fly your drone, then you should come to Nuevo Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And the 505. Anyway, that's Albuquerque for those of you who live in the United States with us.
We will show you Christmas in the summertime.
That is in the summertime. Oh, yeah. And in the wintertime, too.
And
all year long.
That's right.
Talking about green versus red. Anyway, let's play today's question. Chris Gannon, seriously, it has been so humbling to see you grow and to see you live your dreams. And I'm just feel grateful that we could be a part of that.
Absolutely.
And it feels really cool that so many of our members from the very beginning have their own successful businesses, and they are a part of the fabric of the industry, and that's just amazing.
Yeah, he actually has a kind of a unique place in our hearts. He was here training when we were putting this wall up. You remember that?
Yeah. I actually, no, I didn't remember that. Now I do. So
I remember that. Anyways, here's a question.
Good morning, guys. Chris in Tennessee, full-time small business owner here. Went ahead and made the leap of faith and quit the full-time job to move into this full-time. My question is, what should I be striving for in the next 2 to 3 weeks to put working processes in place, sales tactics, what computer if I want to upgrade what computer should I try to move into? That's kind of my question. In your opinion, what should I be moving? What's my number one priorities right now, I guess, is what I'm saying. I went ahead and quit the full-time job so I can have more time to do everything during the day, to meet with customers, to edit footage. I was staying up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning editing footage at night. I've also got 2 jobs coming up in December, 5 days in Mexico, filming for a humanitarian group that hands out Magi boxes, and the same thing for 7 days in Honduras. So I'll be taking both those trips. And also a side question, I plan to do the filming and the photography with the Sony a6300 and the Osmo X3. I don't know if I should upgrade to the X5 or possibly the Ronin. That way I can film with the 6300 on a side question, sorry. But that's really my question, is what processes and what should I be moving towards to make this full-time gig, for good, and not have to go back to my day job. So that's the ultimate goal here, to build a big business and one day hand it over to my children. So thanks for all the help, guys. If it wasn't for Joe and you, I wouldn't be doing this. Catch you later.
I love the big, hairy, audacious goal there that he talked about at the end, to build a big business that he can hand over to his kids.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That is awesome.
He seems a little hesitant. Like he's like, I don't want to end up going back. Step number 1, you already made the leap, so you've really got to believe that you can do it and do everything you possibly can.
And don't look back.
Yeah, and do everything you possibly can to move forward. And I think, he's talking about buying equipment and doing all this, but I think before we move really into detail on this, it's so important to make sure that you do not let your sales become cyclical. And what I mean by that is all of your sales in the summer. You've got to be working on building clients and jobs every week, if not, sectioning off certain days. Even if you're editing, even if you're delegating, even if you're networking, whatever, you have got to save time for looking on job boards and, setting yourself up on websites, like Drone Base and whatnot, to get little filler jobs and, working to ensure that you always have constant revenue coming in. I would say, I know he's got 2 big jobs coming up that are 7 days each. If they don't require editing, don't buy the computer, because you never know what the winter is going to provide for you. And I've had a rough winter about 2 years ago. I haven't had one since, but I had a rough winter about 2 years ago, and I'll be honest, I wasn't smart, and I didn't plan ahead. And working on jobs, I was working on a lot of drone U stuff, and it really kind of made me lose focus. And when I lost focus, I lost revenue, and it took me a solid 45 days to get back in the groove.
Yeah, that's a real issue. You bring up a good point in focusing on sales constantly. So a lot of people that have been in the business that we're still in, but have been doing for a long time, and then that's just finance related. What happens is you do a big push, and maybe even subconsciously out of necessity, you go and you get business, right? Whatever means you use to do that. And so then business comes in. And while you're working on that business and you're delivering content, you're delivering the services or the products that you've sold, you get so focused on that, you forget to continue to do the sales and to generate new business. And so it becomes this peaks and valleys thing that you really, really need to avoid. And you need to do what Paul's talking about, and that is set aside time, if not daily, certainly weekly.
And I suck at blocking time. When you said even blocking time, I kind of just shivered, because I'm not an organized person. I'm just not. When it comes to my gear,
which makes it even that much more important.
Yeah, when it comes to my gear, that's another story. But as far as just being organized in general, it's just not my strong suit.
Right. So. Sure. No, and I would say it's not most people's strong suit, particularly in this world, the society, this environment that we live in, that's so just fast paced and data and so forth just coming at you constantly. But obviously one of the things you've got to have in place, and we assume that you do, Chris, is your business entity and kind of your accounting system and some of those things already set up. If not, you want to talk to somebody with help on that. One of the things that comes to mind in terms of what you need to be doing is to really kind of sit down and think about how you're going to be spending your time, which is what we're just alluding to.
So true.
And from our perspective, the best way to go about that is to time block. And you're going to have to be disciplined with that time block. So every morning you're going to wake up and maybe go practice from 7 to 9, because you obviously got to be keeping your flight skills sharp. So
Super sharp.
That's really important. And not just sharp, but improving and doing that deliberate practice that Paul talked about. One of the books that we've liked and has really helped me personally over the years in terms of kind of setting up a time management system is called Getting Things Done. It's a fantastic book and will give you really great strategies on how to take all the clutter and noise that comes into your life and organize it in an efficient way to get it out of your mind as quickly as possible and focus on what you need to focus on. So highly recommend that book. Something that you've talked about, maybe you can talk a little bit about it, Paul, and how he can apply it here, is the Freedom Journal.
Yes. In fact, I am going to go meet with Mr. John Lee Dumas here shortly in Puerto Rico. But the Freedom Journal is actually something that I'm pretty sure that even Chris Gannon has been using himself. And what this does is this really helps you, stay focused. It really helps you stay accountable for everything that you want to do. It helps you, establish SMART goals. Are they specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound? Because if they're not time bound, then hey, how do you know you ever reached the goal?
Right.
So it's funny. I actually have a Freedom Journal here. Yes, it's the black and gold book. It really does help you, establish also the mindset for the type of entrepreneurial mindset that you need to have in order to stay positive, because a lot of things that people are really afraid to talk about online, which I find really funny, is that there are a lot of intrinsic factors that have to do with your success. And
absolutely,
people don't like to hear it because they're like, oh, well, how could humans ever be so judgmental or blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you have to remain happy. You have to have that customer service to stay above the corporate guys. And it takes a mindset of being grateful for what you have, trying to attain more, maintaining that happiness. I don't know how else to put it other than the other intrinsic factors are, how you're treating your body. Are you healthy? Because if you're not healthy, you're not happy.
Absolutely.
And people are going to see that. And, if you're getting into better shape, people are going to see that. And that, the way that you look, the way that you present yourself intrinsically does have an effect on how you represent yourself, but it also has an effect on how people perceive you. And one thing, if I could tell you that I've learned for myself, because I suck at this, is I have to pretend, what if there are 4 other pilots just like me getting ready in the morning in front of public? How would I act? How would I want to be seen? How would I be? And that way I maintain just that level of, innate satisfaction, essentially.
Yeah, I like that on another front as well, and that is, am I more prepared than them? Am I more practiced than them? Have I talked to more potential clients than them? So you want to outwork that guy, because the reality is they're out there. This is a burgeoning industry, and there's going to be competition.
There is going to be a lot of competition. So, for example, when you start this book, it has a sample day in it, and it says, try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value. Albert Einstein. Mm-hmm. The first thing, what am I grateful for? This is something we've been talking about for a long time. Just waking up every morning and thinking about 3 to 5 things you're grateful for is going to help trigger your mind in the right mindset.
Yeah, it really does.
And then, in 99 days, what's your goal? My number one focus is to get closer to my goals. I'm going to, by the end of the day, I will have accomplished blank. Action plan of the day, thoughts, ideas, and musings. So that way you can get your, what is it called? All of your ADD thoughts out as well. That's what I'll call it.
Yeah,
so,
again, and going back to what we previously said, Getting Things Done in that book, it really is just packed with strategies on how to do those kinds of things, because again, we're constantly inundated with information that our brain has to do something with. And we really are at a point in sort of the human cycle of life where we have to have strategies to deal with that stuff, or it will bury you. So that's got to be something that you really spend some time thinking about and working on and making sure that you've dealt with. You mentioned something as he was talking about his equipment, his side question, which actually was a good question relative to the main question. And that is, this is the kind of equipment that I'm going to use. I think he's got an Inspire. He didn't mention that, but we're pretty sure he's got an Inspire, right? Mm-hmm. An A6300.
One of my favorite cameras.
The Osmo with the X3. So
I would go Osmo Plus.
Okay, so you would tell him to upgrade right now?
Yeah, I would upgrade that specifically because you just get so much more flexibility with it. In fact, I think it's the best vlogging camera ever.
Okay.
And once I have the time to start putting my vlog together, which I've already been collecting footage for and everything, I'll show everyone how I use that to vlog. But I will say that just with the focus control, with the zoom control, there's just so much you can do with that camera. He's got the A6300 that'll cover him in low light. But yeah, I would go Z3 with the Osmo Z3 or the Osmo Plus.
Okay, but in general, we're suggesting that you just try to minimize spending money.
Yes.
Because it sounds like he's got a pretty good setup. We didn't hear what kind of computer he currently has. He mentioned, should he buy a new one? Well, it's hard to say without knowing what you have, but if it's working fine, our suggestion would be use what you've got for as long as you can, as long as it's not hindering your ability to deliver quality and to do it relatively efficiently.
Yes.
If that's happening and you're waiting for rendering just much longer than you know you should, well, then you might need to make a move. But short of that, try to use what you've already got.
I couldn't agree more. And also, in talking about using what you've got, one of the things that you have as an entrepreneur is time, and other people don't have that. That truly is one of your biggest benefits. And if you can learn to delegate now, like, he's talking about editing, 1, 2 in the morning. I did that. I did that for a year. I know how that feels. Get your sleep, hire someone online to do it.
Right.
Seriously, and price it accordingly. So,
and there are a lot of places to do that. One that we use is Upwork, but there are others. I don't know if you have any off the top of your head.
You already mentioned Upwork, which is a pretty good one. Fiverr is okay. Fiverr is better if you edit yourself and you just want little things done, like voiceovers and like
some of the smaller
animations things. And So,
but anyways, there are obviously you can Google outsourcing editing or whatever terms you want to use, and you'll find other options. But Upwork is one option. And we found some really great people on there, and they do a lot of our editing. So that is a great way to go. I mean, if you're really, really fast and really, really good at editing and you kind of like your own style, well, certainly you can choose to do that. But you definitely want to be thinking about what it is that you're going to do in your business versus what somebody else can do that you can farm out or that you can delegate. So that's absolutely a great idea and something to be thinking about for sure.
Totally. Couldn't agree more.
Anything else? One of the things that I kind of hesitated to talk about, and I'm going to anyways, and it's just because I've read a lot about this subject, and that is just understanding that being an entrepreneur can be tough. And definitely don't want this to be a downer, but we also want to be real and want people to be prepared. And I think you probably are. But even talk to your wife about it. Just know it's challenging and there's going to be struggles. And like I said at the very, very beginning, just don't look back. Have your goals, pursue them every day, use resources that are available like the Freedom Journal. The community of Drone U obviously is somewhere you want to stay connected to. So you want to be connected to people that are like-minded and are pursuing the same kind of life you want.
Yeah, they will help definitely motivate and inspire you, that's for sure. But also make sure you're taking time to set yourself up on sites like Drone Base, Stage 32, to make sure you're getting jobs, create a system for that. And also if you are a small business person, and you want to maximize your time, because again, that's all you have, make sure you're time blocking to save an hour or two to upload all your footage that you've taken as stock footage, so you can let your money make money for itself. What's the term here? Let your money make you money.
Let your money work for you.
Let your money work for you. Thank you.
Yeah, the adage of don't work for your money, let your money work for you. Because one has to happen first unless you inherit a bunch of money. But anyways.
True. Very true.
No, that's absolutely true. Again, that goes back to making sure you're spending time generating business, and that's a great way to do it. It's amazing what resources are available in today's day and age.
It's so true.
To get business. It's awesome.
So true.
Take advantage of those.
Definitely, guys. I think this comes down to creating a schedule for yourself and figuring out, that you've got to hit these different points: my business management, client outreach, customer service. You're sending work out. I suck at it. Really, Rob is the king of it. But
one thing you're really good at, and we didn't even mention, and he really needs to think about, and that is setting up a workflow. Because you don't want to be kind of reinventing your workflow every time you do a job. we didn't even mention it, but setting up systems is such a huge part of creating and building a business.
And also, don't be afraid to write those systems down, because if you ever want to duplicate yourself, which you're never going to be able to sell your small business unless you can duplicate yourself, which is really, really important. I think people fail to remember that, because if you're a small business owner and the business runs because of you and no one else, then you're never going to be able to sell it.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard it said, and I can't remember who or I'd quote them, but I've heard it said that if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. And I think that's true.
Yeah.
Certainly in the context of what you're talking about.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today, unless you have more to speak about as far as what he could do.
No, I would just say, Chris, I hope we've answered your question, but if you were thinking in a little bit different terms, do a follow-up. Let us know specifically what you're wondering, but these are definitely things he should be thinking about.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about. And, one of the things that I would make sure, if you are thinking about making the leap from part-time to full-time, is, do you have enough business coming in? Do you have enough recurring, regular income? What is your, income ratio as far as how much your small business is really creating versus how much it's consuming? Also, don't be like most small business owners and spend. Have the save mentality. How can you be frugal? Absolutely everywhere. It's so important.
Put off
so
spending
important
today so that you can have tomorrow.
And on that bombshell, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.